Unit 7, preschool teacher, their competencies and professional growth. And in Unit 8, the ideal physical environment. Now, the history and philosophy of preschool education. Till the 18th century, early childhood education was the responsibility of home and parents. Later, many great educationists started advocating the education of young children. Some of them are Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Rousseau believed that child learn best through direct experience and interaction with nature. He also believed that children should be free from strict discipline and artificial schooling. Rousseau described his ideas of childcare and training in Emile. Emile is a novel written by the Rousseau. His most motto was let the child grow according to him. A child was born is essentially good and that wishes developed later. He believed that childhood is an important phase for development of a child. According to Rousseau, material world is the real world. Mind is subordinate to matter. Nature alone is the source of all knowledge. Values are created in terms of specific needs. All values exist in nature. It means Rousseau emphasized on nature. There is no possibility of any supernatural being. Rousseau is also in favor of freedom. The second is Jean Frederick Oberlin, born in 1714 and died in 1826. He established the first school for the very young children in France. There was shortage of food and healthcare services. The program included reading, number work, and other subjects for primary grade levels. John Frederick Oberlin, who believed in teaching children through play and practical application, respect for pace, kindergarten, liberal arts, education, respect for nature. His objective was to educate people in their own living and in all of their dimensions like intellectual, manual, artistic, and spiritual, or you can say the all-round development of the child. So, the Rousseau and the Jean Frederick Oberlin are the great philosopher. The next is John Heinrich Pestalozzi, was born in 1706 and died in 1827. He introduced object teaching. He believed that learning was more effective if children could see and feel objects rather than hear about them in words alone. Parent education was considered necessary by him. His methods had a major influence in later educational development of the United States. John Henry Pestalozzi was a Swiss educational reformer who believed that children should learn through activity and experiences. His ideas about education for children are learning through experiences, holistic development, or you can say the all-round development. Third is learning through play, group instruction, field trips, loving environment, social reform through education. So these are the methods of teaching. Now, preschool centers, as we have discussed yesterday, there are so many centers for preschooling like Anganwadis, nursery schools. In a preschool center, children of the age 2 to 6 years are provided daycare. These centers make the children learn effectively through the use of play and activity. It means the main emphasis on the activities. It usually runs from Monday to Friday in two different programs, half day with 3 hours duration and full day program from 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. In many centers, there is also provision for children care from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now the kindergarten system. As we have learned earlier, kindergarten is the system of preschool education founded by the Froebel, in which children are taught through creative play, social interaction, and natural expression. Heinrich Froebel is known as the father of kindergarten system. He considered spontaneous self-activity as the basis of education. He favored learning in the form of play and creativity, boosting activities rather than intellectual knowledge. Froebel's original philosophy for kindergarten was based on his beliefs in natural laws of learning. He believed the young children to be like tender plants that should be provided with adequate facilities to grow into adult. According to him, the teacher must help a child recognize his potential and to achieve it. A teacher should be like a mother and nurture a child by providing him supportive environment. A child should be taught moral values and good social habits. Froebel was conceived that play and handling materials objects were the best means to develop the child's physical, social, emotional, and intellectual abilities. To teach these principles, he designed special educational materials and activities that formed the core of kindergarten curriculum. These were called gifts, occupations, and mother plays. As we know, the curriculum means the totality of the experiences. The gifts were a set of geometric shapes such as balls, cubes, cut papers, string, and cylinders. They are used to perform a sequence of highly structured activities called occupations, such as shaping designs and modeling with clay. Geometric relationships are learned and they also understand the fundamental principle of knowledge. The mother plays were a series of finger plays, games, and songs designed to teach children about their bodies, senses, and social relationships. The mother plays also enable children to practice self-control, cooperation, and talking turns. It was Froebel who for the first time drew the attention of the world to early childhood education. Manual work such as paper cutting, clay modeling, painting, drawing in education was first considered by him as an essential condition for wholesome development of a child. Now, the features of kindergarten. First is free self activity. Second is creativity. Third is social participation. Next is teaching through play. Next is teaching through songs, gestures, and constructions. Now the kindergarten program. Kindergarten programs will expose the child to mathematics, science, reading, and art. The child learns to count objects first and after he is comfortable with counting. The teacher will teach him the basics of arithmetic through exciting games and activities. Teachers read to the child and may encourage him to pronounce words. Later, the child will learn to write the alphabet and then he begins to spell and write words and also frame sentences. The child is acquainted with science during his days at kindergarten. A positive attitude for science is developed through hand-on experiments where they learn to predict results, test ideas, and formulate conclusions. A child is also acquainted with nature during kindergarten days, learning about animals and trees, their names and what they look like, is a playway with songs and activities to teach children about the world around them. Field trips to places like zoos and nature walks are also included in the kindergarten program. Kindergarten curriculum is designed to teach children important learning skills through play using the different rooms such as playrooms, library, and art room. Equipment for the room is chosen with specific developmental goals in mind and is continuously changed to provide interest. Teachers focus on social skills by providing experiences in which children can interact with peers. Through the use of multisensory activities located in these areas, they develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills needed for success in literacy, mathematics, science, and art. Socialization, the child at a young age will allow him to develop friendship with other children in his own age group. Through socialization, the child will learn sharing and other interaction skills. Children who attend the pre-kindergarten program will be better to attend school and will be more confident to make new friends. Thus, these routines, children learn language skills, cooperation, sharing, taking turns, and learn to work in group. Now the merits and demerits of kindergarten. First, the merits. Emphasis on early childhood education. Play way is accepted as the method of education. Provision for activities. Social learning is made possible. Now, the demerits. Overemphasis on play is likely to distract the child from serious learning. There is only limited scope for correlation in teaching of various subjects in kindergarten system. The system overlooks the importance of environment in the development of child. Now the Montessori system. Montessori system is a child-centered education system developed by Maria Montessori. Child-centered means a method according to the needs and the interest of the students. She was an Italian doctor and also a renowned child educator, studied the development and education of children through the scientific method of observation, experimentation, and research. Her important contribution to education are developed a unique system of early childhood education, that is Montessori system, which can be used effectively with mentally retarded, physically handicapped, normal and gifted children in different countries around the world. She developed a series of standardized materials called didactic apparatus for kinesthetic training and sense training of preschool children. Another contribution was her recognition of the importance of early stimulation on later learning. Other contribution was the recognition of multiple pathways to learning, the importance of concrete or hands-on learning, the stages of cognitive development in children. Montessori education theory brought radical changes in the field of education. Montessori believed in child's independence in finding out the way of learning of him. The Montessori method of education included most important aspect of philosophical, psychological, and pedagogical principles. Montessori's curriculum emphasized three major classes of activities. First is practical, second is sensory, third is formal skill and studies. It introduced child to practical activities, repetitive exercises, developed sensory and muscular coordination. Formal skills and subjects included reading, writing, and arithmetic. Now, the characteristics and the principle of Montessori method. Major characteristics of Montessori method are: it is self-activated method. It promotes learning by discovery and self-directed activities rather than mere instruction. Learning by doing is the main principle. Children are taught through all senses with a special emphasis on kinesthetic. Role of a teacher is that a guide, observer, coach, facilitator, and overall manager. Now, the principles of Montessori method. The first is principle of development from within. The second is principle of intrinsic, rewarding and non-punishing. Third is principle of individual development. Next is principle of auto education, principle of sense training, and the principle of motor training. The first is principle of development from within. According to Montessori, education is a process of development from within a child. The child becomes educated through his own natural curiosities, and therefore the school should provide him with suitable environment to unfold his potentials. The second is principle of intrinsic rewarding and non-punishing. No material reward or punishment should be used to force learning and development of child, as children are intrinsically motivated to work on their own. Next is principle of individual development. Each child exhibits his own peculiar abilities in his own way. When he is left to develop spontaneously, therefore, learning activities are individualized. Next is principle of auto-education. Montessori believes that children are capable of self-directed learning. Auto-education occurs in learners when they are left free to exert their own effort. Next is principle of self-training. As we know, there are five senses. According to her, young children learn best through the use of their senses. They learn better when they are given opportunity to touch, feel, move, see, hear, smell, and taste. Next is principle of motor training. Montessori believes that motor activities play important role in the education of children. It involves a series of kinesthetic activities that may aid the normal development of muscles and improves muscular memory. Now the Montessori program. The Montessori program include reading, language, mathematical skills and study of culture, plants and animals. The Montessori curriculum focuses on five areas. First is practical life, sensorial language arts, mathematics and cultural subjects. Toys and other learning materials are arranged in the classroom. The child can make his choice and pick a task called work according to his interest. After the work, the children put the materials back on the shelf and move on to a new activity. Older kids help the younger ones in this process of learning. The length of the day depends on the school and the age of the students. A typical Montessori preschool program runs from 9 a.m. to 12:30. Now the merit and demerits of the Montessori method. First, the merits of Montessori method. A child who attends a Montessori nursery has higher level of cognitive attainment and higher levels of social and behavioral habits. Second, it helps to inculcate discipline in a child. Learning is self-directed and activity-based, which makes it an enjoyable process. Fourth is there is no stress on or competition among children as every child learns at his own pace. Next is extracurricular skills can be fostered in a child through the Montessori method. Now the demerits of Montessori method. Montessori education focuses too much on the individual and so the child may be slow to develop social skills because of lack of interaction. Second is as the emphasis is on structure, the child's development may be restricted. Third is the environment of the Montessori school is different from primary school, which makes it difficult for a child to adjust in primary school. Next is education in primary school is instruction and interaction based, while in a Montessori school it is self-directed. Therefore, a student of Montessori school finds it difficult to adjust in primary school. Now, the importance of tripartite relationship in preschool. Preschool education is the training or preparation for future life, whereby the child gets benefited physically, intellectually, socially, morally, and psychologically. Physically, a child benefits from balanced diet, training of good eating habits, and through play activities that helps in muscle coordination. He is provided healthy external coordination such as light, sunshine, space, and fresh air. Intellectually, he benefits by stimulating the environment and from an education that places emphasis on not on a sterile instruction but on harmonious creative growth. He is given the opportunity for the exercise of imagination and for the development of many interests as well as skills of various kinds. Now, socially and morally, he benefits as he is trained to live in cooperation by maintaining peace. He is also taught basic etiquettes. He is gaining the experience of community life by working and playing with other children. All these qualities, when inculcated from the early life of a child, remain lifelong with him. A preschool, by providing positive forces, makes a child to adjust himself socially in his atmosphere and develop wholesome personal habits. To incorporate these skills in a child during his preschool, a tripartite relationship in preschools is very significant. Now, the family as an agency of education. As we all know that the first guru of the child is his mother. The family or home as an important agency of education has been exercising an everlasting and immediate influence on the behavior, character, conduct, and personality of its members. Apart from school, parents should also play an important role in shaping and building the career of the child. From ancient times, family is the first place or institution where we learn our first lessons of living together, working together, helping each other. A child spends most part of the day with family. It is at home that the child learns to walk and talk, to imbibe certain moral values and to differentiate between right and bad. Therefore, family plays a vital role in inculcating good manners and habits in a child. Now, the family atmosphere and learning. A child is taught primarily at home. First and foremost, we should keep our homes neat and clean. This creates a comfortable atmosphere and acts as a positive motivating factor. We should add personal touches to everything that we make in our home. The child should be allowed to participate in household works. This helps them to feel more comfortable, which promotes learning. We should allow our children to move and play freely. We should teach our children to be calm rather than being aggressive. It should be the responsibility of the family to set a calm environment in the home. Now, the family atmosphere and your child. The environment that we create around a child determines his personality. Home provides an anchor to the child. To develop a strong personality in the child, the following things must be taken care of. First is plenty of love and care should be given to a child to help him feel secure. While communicating with the child, eye contact must be maintained to bring transparency in the relation of a parent and a child. A pat or a hearty handshake will make him feel good. Spending time with the child will help to build a strong bond and will help a parent to understand the child better. Appreciation should be given to a child on his achievement to encourage him. Over pampering a child may ruin his own ability. Instead of getting everything done for him, he must allowed to do things himself. Spending time with a child by playing with him and help him develop good habits like reading books can bring positive change in his life. Now, educational function of family. First is a home is where a child begins to learn. As an agency of education, family should perform the some functions. They are provisions for physical development. Second is development of mental ability. Third
On
is
the go you are means when you're traveling on the go this so that you don't.
emotional development. Next is home as an agency of socialization. Home imparts moral education. Next is training for citizenship. The first is provisions for physical development. The first function of the family is to develop the child physically. Parents and elder members of the family should be careful about the physical development of the children. To achieve this, useful physical exercise and other activities should be provided to children. To achieve this, family should take care to provide balanced diet to students. The second is development of mental ability. Family can play a major role to develop mental power like thinking, reasoning, feeling, discrimination, judgment, memory, etc. Third is emotional development. The real education of the child begins not intellectually but emotionally. Good fellow feeling and cooperation among the members uplifts the emotional makeup of the child. As a result, the child develops positive emotions like sympathy, tolerance, love, justice. The home also gives a sense of security to the child, which enables it to receive fruitful education. Next is home as an agency of socialization. The home is the first socializing agency in the child's life. Child learn all the socially desirable values like companionship, love, interpersonal relationship, tolerance, etc. from home. Next is home imparts moral education. Family plays a major role in imparting moral education to the child under the variable stresses and strains of modern society. Moral education is the only source which can provide peace and happiness to an individual. Next is training for citizenship. In a democratic state, home provides training for citizenship through their participation in household activities. They develop a good background for citizenship. Now, the parents' role. The role of parents in education of preschoolers is very important. The parents can talk to the child about what they do and where they have been. Ask them what they did and what they saw. Listen them with interest. Read books to the children. Tell stories of your childhood. Help them to ride a two-wheeled or three-wheeled bike with support wheels. Make opportunity for outdoor physical activities such as walks in the park, ball games, and visiting playgrounds. Provide materials for painting and drawing. Praise and encourage the child when he consider other and play well with other and help him to think about how others feel. Now the mother's role. The child's mother is the person best suited to provide a suitable and warm interpersonal relationship as well as necessary pattern of sensory stimulation. Such environment helps to foster the overall development of a child. A mother should not compare her child with another child as it can develop a sense of inferiority in the child. Mothers should take special attention in providing adequate nutrition, clean and healthy living conditions, opportunities for play, listening to good language, encourage self-expression, opportunities for observation, manipulation, experimentation, and problem solving. She should not burst out to children as it hurts the emotional stability of the child. A child should be treated with care and patience by his mother. Now, the role of PTA in the functioning of a school. PTA, that is the Parent Teacher Association. Educational process requires the effective participation of school and home. The goals aimed at by both school and home are the same. Therefore, both need the help and confidence of the other. The responsibility of parents is not just to send their child to school. They have to be continuously in touch with the school to fulfill their dual responsibilities. Cooperation between school and parents is a two-way process, makes things work smoothly. PTA, that is Parent Teacher Association, is the most effective means of promoting this cooperation. On the one hand, the parents come to know what work the school is doing for their children, and on the other hand, the teachers begin to appreciate the value of what the home is doing for the people. Now, the objectives of a PTA area as follows. PTA, that is Parent Teacher Association, to facilitate participation of parents in school, to enable parents to understand the working of the school, Next is to provide support for improving the standard of pupil achievement. Next is to organize programs for student welfare to improve the condition and facilities of the schools. Nowadays, Mother Teacher Association (MTA) also is active participants of school activities as mother show more passion to the routine works of the students. Now the communication between parent and teacher. A positive communication between parent and teacher is essential to ensure a positive impact on students' academic potential. It helps in enhancing students' self-esteem, improves his academic performance, provides him a consistent support network, strengthens his overall personal development. The communication should be focused on the best interest of the child. If the child is facing problem at school, it is important for parents and teachers to share the responsibility for creating a working relationship that fosters child's learning and development. Open and frequent communication between parent and teachers helps to ensure that the issues raised at the parent teachers meeting don't catch one by surprise. Both parents and teachers benefit from being well prepared in advance for the meeting so that the meeting is less emotionally charged and takes place in a trusting atmosphere. So now the addressing learning problems of students. Addressing the learning problems of a child is an important aspect of PTA. The parents and teachers should cooperate each other in this aspect. The parents ask teachers about problem and the context in which the problem occurs. The difficulty faced by the child can be due to frustration with peers, the family arrangements, or learning situations. Teacher can then point out the strengths and weakness of child so that both the parents and teachers work together to overcome these difficulties. Parents can also ask the teacher about what is being done to help the child overcome the problem. If the teachers and parents talks to the child about his or her problem, then that can surely make a difference. Parents can be Parents can for suggestions from the teacher. Some suggestions could be spending time with the child at home or to help him in his academics. Before leaving the meeting, exchange of ideas between teachers and parents on what is to be done for the child can be helpful. The child should also be involved in such decisions. Scheduling another meeting after some time to review the effectiveness of the action of both parents and teachers can have a positive impact on the child. This strategy can serve to encourage a child who may have become discouraged from repeated experiences of failure early in the school year. Now, addressing behavior problem of students, the parents should inquire about their child's misbehavior. They can ask the teacher to help determine when, where, and why the misbehavior is occurring, and then try to identify with the teacher and events that may have contributed. to a specific incident of misconduct. They should consider anything that could contribute to this behavior, like family problem, illness, influence of peers, and so on. The teacher can be asked what is to be done by both the teacher and the child to help solve the problem. It may be helpful to have the teacher call the parents if the problem happens again in order to discuss possible solutions. Parents and teachers can together look at alternative short-term solution. Children are more likely to be concerned about improving their behavior if they believe their parents care about how they believe. When parents and teachers meet often to plan the necessary action to solve the problem, the preschooler understands that he is expected to behave well and get motivated to solve the problem. Now the tips for parents to communicate with the teachers. The parents should remember some communicating with the teacher. First is make an appointment to visit the school. Next is go to school in time, talk to head of the institution and the concerned teacher, talk with other parents, find time to attend school or function or PTA, that is Parent Teacher Association, inquire the teachers regarding the behaviors shown by the child in the class. Now the teacher-child relationship in preschools. Teachers' primary goal is to establish a relationship with children in their care based upon trust. Teacher-children interaction should be frequent, affectionate, and with warm smiles and gentle verbs. Teacher-child relationship in the classroom. First is absence of relationship devoid of feelings, narcissistic relationship, over-involved relationship, symbiotic relationship, mutual understanding relationship. Now the first is absence of relationship. In the classroom, a student may be totally ignored or dismissed by the teacher. Nothing that the student does will gain him recognition or approval from the teacher. It is literally a no-win situation. The second is relationship devoid of feelings. This type of teacher-children relationship is purely clinical or instrumental in nature. The teacher shows no warmth or closeness to students. This is also a no-win situation. Third is narcissistic relationship. The narcissistic teacher-pupil relationship is a conditioned relationship wherein the pupil can gain recognition and affirmation, but at some cost. In this relationship, the student is there to meet the teacher's needs, and when he does so, he gains praise and approval. Next is symbiotic relationship. This is a very disturbing relationship wherein individual is not allowed and every member of the class must be the same in all aspect of behavior. It is an It is as if the class is the individual and the members make up that one body. Next is mutual understanding relationship. In this relationship, the teacher inculcates model behavior among the students. Here, the teacher prepares a learning program use a variety of methods and support, surprise the activities of the students in the class. Be honest in students' appraisal, avoid favoritism, enforce discipline through healthy practices. The teacher should also encourage students' positive thinking and be ready to adjust teaching style to meet individual needs of the students. Now, the quality and characteristics of an preschool teacher. Teaching is an essential part of education. Its special function is to impart knowledge, develop understanding and skills. A preschool teacher should interact with young mind as a parent substitute. A teacher needs to possess certain qualities which can be broadly classified as qualities relating to professional requirements. Second is qualities related to character and personality. Third is qualities related to human relationships. And next is qualities related to professional educational training. Qualities relating to professional requirements. The qualities of a professional teacher are love towards the profession. Second is love for children, respect individuality of each child, knowledge of child psychology and educational psychology, mastery of the subject matter. Next is preparation, acquire various skills of teaching. Now the qualities relating to character and personality. The character and personality of the pupil cannot be developed if the teacher, who is the model to be followed, lacks character and personality. A teacher teaches not only by what he says and does, but largely by what he is. Children are imitative and suggestive by nature. Therefore, teacher must acquire moral alertness. He should always be frank, sincere, and honest. Now, the qualities relating to the human relationship. The teacher should possess good physique, linguistic ability, and communication skills. Next is a fair degree of general mental ability, general awareness of the world, a positive outlook on life, the capacity for good human relations. Now the preschool teacher quality. Now the preschool teacher qualification in India. The required qualification of the preschool teacher for appointment varies and they are required for to possess any of the qualification, graduate with a nursery training certificate, bachelor or master degree with a diploma of degree in education, diploma in education, that is DED, PG diploma in early childhood care and education, MSc home science childhood development and family relations, BSc home science degree in early childhood care and education, and senior secondary with DLED, that is diploma in elementary education. Now objectives in service education to provide incentive to the teachers to function more efficiently, to help teachers to know their problem and to solve them by pooling their resources wisely, to help teachers to employ more effective methods of teaching, to help teachers to get acquainted with modern techniques in education, to upgrade the teacher knowledge and understanding of the content, to increase the level of motivation of teachers to develop self-confidence and help them to be committed and reflective teachers. Now, various modes of in-service education. Various types of in-service programs that exist at present are: first is refresher courses, second is summer courses, third is orientation programs, next is correspondence courses, workshops, seminars, and conferences. Some of the institutions providing in-service education in states are State Council State Council of Educational Research and Training, that is SCRT, State Institute of Education, that is SIE. Next is the State Institute of Science Education, that is SISE. State Institute of English, Extension Services Department of Universities, and next is DITE, that is District Institute of Education and Training. Now, preparation for primary school. An ideal environment helps to build foundation for primary school through the following activities. First is vocabulary, second is social studies, third is number concepts, fourth is natural sciences. Now, the now physical environment. General requirement for preschool institution. The function of the nursery school is to complement rather than substitute for the home. The degree and type of responsibility a preschool should assume for the physical, mental, and social development of children will depend upon the amount of responsibility that the home is able to assume. It calls for considerable ingenuity in adapting the resources of the school to meet the needs of the young ones. Building and equipment for a group of young children in a nursery school means more than playing things and shelter. They are integral part of the educational program of the school, comprising not only the educational opportunities for the children, but also the member of staff members required to carry out the program. Young children learn by first-hand experiences. The educational value that the children receive from these experiences is undoubtedly greatly affected by the ability of the teacher in charge, the materials available, and the infrastructure facilities. There are some general conditions which should govern the planning and equipping of the of any preschool. They are adequate outdoor space. Second is some provision for water, play. Third is play area which provides both semi and complete shelter. Third is adequate storage space for children's use, which is both functional and decorative. Next is aesthetic appeal. Next is indoor equipments. Next is storage space for supplies not in constant use. Bathroom with adequate lavatory and toilet facilities. Adequate facilities for children's resting. Furnishing which favor the development of good posture habits. Isolation space. Now, the preparation for primary school. An ideal environment helps to build foundation for the primary school through the academic activities. First is vocabulary. Second is social studies. Third is number concepts. Next is natural sciences. The first is vocabulary. A preschool child expresses himself through manipulative arts, music, creative physical activity, conversation, and dramatization. The child will not learn to read easily unless he has good speaking vocabulary. He builds his vocabulary through identifying words with objects and experiences. The second is social studies. All preschool experiences contribute to social studies through dramatizing home experiences, excursions, exhibits, stories, pictures, sharing experiences, and visitors from the community. The child's interest in home, school, and community are sharpened. He starts by observation and understanding of life in his immediate surroundings. Next is number concept. Many arithmetical concepts may be informally introduced. Some of the number experiences included are counting, comparison of large and small, distinguishing such shapes and as circles, triangles, cubes, squares. Next is natural science. A young child is always a young scientist. It is noted that young children of the age 4 and 5 are always curious to know many aspects. They frequently ask the questions how and why. The preschool situation should offer excellent opportunity to capitalize on this curiosity and interest through nature walks, simple experiment, nature exhibits, care of pets, planting gardens, and sharing of experiences. The children gain greater awareness of their environment. They can be familiarized with the annual cycle of seasons. young ones of animals, etc. So, I think we should end the session now. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.